What does Zyn give you? Not just smoke-free nicotine satisfaction, but real freedom. Freedom to do what you love and choose your rewards. With Zyn Rewards, you can redeem points for premium tech, outdoor gear, and gift cards to your favorite retailers. Find your Zyn and keep finding rewards that fit your lifestyle at zyn.com/rewards. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Now's a good time to remember where tequila's story truly began. In 1795, Cuervo invented tequila.
Cuervo.
What are you doing here?
Cuervo. Anytime someone says Cuervo, I show up.
Well, I do know that to be true, but even during ad reads, like...
Cuervo.
I think you could lay out, especially for one of our great partners.
Sweet, delicious Cuervo.
Since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. The same family, the same land, the same passion.
Cuervo.
So, enjoy the tequila that started it all. Cuervo.
Cuervo.
The tequila that invented tequila. Proximo. Cuervo.com. Please drink responsibly.
Cuervo.
This episode is brought to you by Honda. When you test drive the all-electric Prologue SUV, there's a lot that could impress you about it. There's the generous passenger space, the clean, thoughtful design, and the intuitive technology. But out of everything, what you'll really love most is that it's a Honda. Visit honda.com/EV to see offers.
At Sierra, discover great deals on top brand workout gear, like high-quality walking shoes, which might lead to another discovery.
40,000 steps, baby. Who's on top now, Karen?
You've taken the office step challenge a step too far. Don't worry, though. Sierra also has yoga gear. It might be a good place to find your zen. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
Savor every last drop of summer with Starbucks. From bold refreshers to rich cold brews, the sunniest season only gets better with a handcrafted iced beverage in your hand. Available for a limited time. Your summer favorites are ready at Starbucks.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
A William Engel writes in Stugotz, willpower is his Twitter handle, and I think he speaks for all of America right now when he says it sucks that Dan Le Batard and all those dorks are happy. I believe that it is something that the rest of North America feels whenever someone other than your fan base is celebrating anything. The internet is a wildly divided place. I don't believe that people are happy for each other on the internet. And I believe that more people would be listening to this show by double today if the Panthers had lost. That would attract more people in today's North America than happiness.
Oddly, the only people that were happy for Florida Panther fans were Tampa Bay Lightning fans and their organization.
I don't believe that the fans of Tampa Bay were actually happy for Florida. That is simply the organization of Tampa
doing the right thing,
trying to be magnanimous. I don't believe there is anybody in hockey today, anywhere outside of a 50-mile radius of here, that's happy for the sport of hockey today because of what happened last night.
And you know what we say to those people?
It is annoying to sound like you are gloating. Chris Cote, after wanting to throw up for 12 straight hours, just shouting obnoxiously into his camera how great he is and how he believed all along, how it was never in doubt, how he was the only true supporter of everything that the Panthers were this season. And the only reason that he couldn't take more credit is because he was second place in his own family on being able to take credit for why it is that the Panthers won.
What a series for Greg. I mean.
Yeah, I hate to brag. You know that.
Yeah.
But did your call? I didn't read your column after the game. Apologies. Did you hit him with the Conn Smythe?
No,
like you said you were gonna.
I made a fleeting reference to it, but that was not the emphasis of the column. I'm going to come back with a column today that'll be online later today about the whole past couple of weeks and the McDavid drama.
About you? About you.
Yeah,
about your favorite.
I think
squeeze it a little more.
I think your original column should be your last word on the topic. That's it. That's it. You don't have to say anything more. You won.
Your column should be, I was right.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that may be essentially not in just that, but that may be essentially what I write today. But the column I wrote last night had to be a celebration of this epic achievement.
You were not right.
Oh, yeah, I was.
No, he's right.
Yeah. I mean, read more about it later today.
No, you were wrong, and
I was not wrong.
You're the best kind of right, which is you're wrong.
No, I disagree.
I'm familiar.
Like, McDavid just did something that's only happened 5 times prior in the history of the National Hockey League.
He was terrible 5 out of 7 games. I don't want to hear about it.
I mean, he won the Conn Smythe on a losing team.
Yeah, I know.
Terrible is
And
a
shouldn't
stretch. NHL is trying to make him a thing.
And only the second time that a skater, not a goalie, won the Conn Smythe on a losing team.
Yeah, Bob should have won it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what should have happened. McDavid missed an opportunity. He squandered an opportunity after the game. He squandered many during the game and during the series, but he squandered one afterwards. You accept the Conn Smythe, you skate it over to Bob, you hand it to him.
Wow. Yeah.
That's what you do.
That's what you do.
That's what you do.
That's what you do.
That would have been classic.
Thank you.
Greg, what if you were in front of, because we know that Connor McDavid's father, not a fan of the Greg Cote column, what would you say to him if he were in front of you now?
What would he ask me? I mean, I'm not going to
No. You see him. You're face to face. Like, he was here. Do you say I didn't mean any disrespect, or do you say I was right? Like, what do you say?
I would say, Dad, what I said originally, I stand for, which is your son is top tier in expectations, in hype. Top tier of almost all time, with the possible exception of Gretzky. He hasn't lived up because he hasn't won a Stanley Cup. His stats are great.
Hasn't lived up to what?
Hasn't lived up to those lofty expectations and hype.
Expectations, yes.
He has to. Just finished his 9th season. He has to win a Stanley Cup. And I thought this postseason was a perfect mirror on his career, which is the stats are great. The numbers are great, particularly the assists. But what's missing? What's missing from this career?
I'm not here to argue against the topic, but I would say, like, if you look at the entire playoffs, the award is given to the most outstanding player. Like, literally no one did more for their team
I agree.
in pursuit of that cup. That's what they voted on.
That person, by definition, can't be overrated.
No, he can't.
That's not true.
Like, they didn't win the cup, but the voters just said he did everything humanly possible to win that cup.
They said he's the best player in hockey. They said he's the best player in hockey.
They voted that nobody did more to help their team win a cup.
But they made that decision after Game 5 because he did nothing Game 6 and 7.
Right, nothing at all. He was disappeared in the last game.
Well said.
But
Nice.
At least he didn't say it right into his hand while rubbing his face.
What you should be
would be
saying,
muffled.
What you should be saying is who did the most to help his team win the Stanley Cup.
But that's not the award. That's not the award.
But I was saying earlier in the other room, there should be a NHL final, a Stanley Cup final MVP award. Okay? There should be both. Conn Smythe is fine.
They should listen to you.
They should.
In Greg's defense, Charles Barkley agreed with him last night on the broadcast.
A lot of people did.
Thank you.
I'll tell you.
Stephen A's doing it right now.
Going into the third period, Subban and Messier were, Subban especially, adamant that it should be Bobrovsky. I was stunned. Adamant that it should be Bobrovsky.
Yeah, no, that's true. PK said that?
He gave himself a little bit of wiggle room. He said if Connor wins it, I won't be that upset, but it should be someone from a winning team.
Yeah, I think so too. Was PK wearing a bathrobe when he said it or no? I'm just curious.
Again, you cannot be right when the voters who have a winner's bias choose the loser to give the trophy to on. Here's your mere value, an independent measurement of your value. We think you're the best even though you're the loser and we have a winner's bias. Like, you can't be a lot more wrong than that while still claiming to be right.
Okay, his talent jumps off the screen. You can tell he's the best player in hockey. That's not what Greg is saying. He's not even debating that. He's saying if you're going to be that great, you need to validate all of it with a Stanley Cup.
I think we're all clear on what Greg was saying. It's just after that playoff performance, on the heels of the greatest season in NHL history, arguably, my opinion of Connor McDavid has not diminished.
It's enhanced for me.
Yeah, I only think he's better.
I think it adds to the aura.
It is not surprising that Stugotz would take the position. It is one of the few consistent ones that he has had. You are not validated in his eyes until you win a championship, and even if you do, as Kevin Durant, he will not validate you in his eyes unless you win the championship the way that he wishes for you to win the championship.
Stay in Edmonton.
So it's not surprising that Stugotz would side with Cote. Also not surprising that Cote would double and triple down on on what is one of the more hackneyed things that can be done anywhere in sports journalism, which is to establish a rating that cannot be reached by any other raters, where you're putting the rating where it is that you want, and all the other raters are wrong because there's no way to actually measure the rating.
It could have been reached last night.
What you just said is complete bullshit. If Edmonton wins 2-1 last night, I'm standing right here going, he's properly rated. Okay, he has caught up to the expectation everybody had
if
for
they
him.
don't hit the post, and if Reinhart doesn't score a soft goal, then you're wrong.
What if Kulikov doesn't fall into the net defending the second goal?
Things that don't have anything to do with McDavid. McDavid was not on the ice when one of those things happened.
Welcome to sports.
Right.
We live by the bottom line. The puck did hit the pipe and didn't go in. Skinner did not stop the
because
goal.
McDavid's overrated.
Greg
right?
is saying they just had to win the game. McDavid didn't have to do anything. He didn't have to play. I mean,
Greg has actually been pretty consistent about this, and he hasn't deviated from it. So I get his point, and the way that we cover sports in this country is, Greg gets to be right tonight. I will say, though, in all of this, you mentioned Kevin Durant, who many people blamed Russell Westbrook early on in his career for his failings. If Connor McDavid is not in this series, all the hype gets attributed to Leon Draisaitl. Everyone calls Leon Draisaitl the best player in this series. You'd have the talking head say, is Leon Draisaitl the best player in hockey?
Right.
He did not show up this series.
No, he scored 0
is
goals.
worthy of criticism.
Right.
Greg, if you're still sticking to McDavid is overrated, they didn't win, he didn't show up in the last 2 games, doesn't that take away from the Panthers?
No, because the Panthers defended him. Because Barkov...
But that's the reason why it happened. Not because McDavid's overrated, because the Panthers did their thing.
Yes. I'm not taking anything away from the Panthers. They richly deserved it. And my co-MVP, along with Bob, would be Barkov, who proved for everyone that he's the 2-time...
You're giving it to two guys
instead of McDavid. Two guys.
Yeah, because they won a cup.
Co-MVP, yes.
What about Reinhart's Stanley Cup winning goal?
No.
He had a
gone
moment.
too far.
He had a disappointing final until last night, in my opinion.
Gone too far.
game winner.
Yeah.
Greg
If you're the
Cote.
greatest of all time, the Panthers can't shut you down. That's Greg's point. And they did, so he's not the greatest of all time.
This was Connor McDavid's first final. This was his chance before the world, before North America at least, to prove that all of the hype is real. This is how good I am. I can lift a team that isn't quite as good as Florida, and I can make them Stanley Cup champions. He didn't do it, okay? Maybe that's harsh for some people. He's a great player who in almost 10 years hasn't won a Stanley Cup, overrated, hasn't lived up to the hype. You know, the hype is way up here, but he has not lived up until he wins a Stanley Cup.
I just love the visual of Greg Cote telling Connor McDavid's father to his face his son is overrated.
He knows.
Does he?
Dad
Does
knows.
Mr.
McDavid knows.
That's why it hurts, Dan. You only get offended by things if they have a slight tinge of truth to them. And when he hears it, he's like, ooh, you know what? What you do is you go up to Mr. McDavid, you say, you raised a good boy, not good enough.
Well, what's he going to do with the next 10-some-odd years of his career?
Let's see.
Is
he going to win a Stanley Cup?
I mean,
puck's in his court.
It's
as they
interesting.
say.
Like Ovechkin played in the same conference as the greatest player of his generation, Sidney Crosby. Ovechkin, great player, may catch up to Gretzky's record. He only had the one crack at it. He won it, but he only had the one chance. You can't take these things for granted.
What does Zyn give you? Not just smoke-free nicotine satisfaction, but real freedom. Freedom to do what you love and choose your rewards. With Zyn Rewards, you can redeem points for premium tech, outdoor gear, and gift cards to your favorite retailers. Find your Zyn and keep finding rewards that fit your lifestyle at zyn.com/rewards. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
I've mentioned it before on the show, but guys, I don't really get enough sleep generally. And so when I do get sleep, I want to make sure I'm getting great sleep. And do you ever, like me, wake up tired and think, maybe it's not me, maybe it's the bed? Yeah, it probably is the bed. That's why there's the Sleep Number Smart Bed, the bed that learns you. It adjusts to your movements, supports your body, and lets you pick the firmness on each side. No arguments, no flipping a coin, no sleeping on the edge of the bed like you lost a challenge on Survivor. Sleep Number's been working with the NFL since 2018. 80% of NFL players sleep on one of these beds. If it's good enough for a 300-pound lineman trying to recover from Sunday, it's probably good enough for your weird shoulder cramp from scrolling in bed for 3 hours. Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? So you can choose your ideal comfort on either side. The only bed that lets you make each side firmer or softer whenever you like your Sleep Number setting. And now, it's the Sleep Number 4th of July sale. Save over $600 on the Sleep Number P5 King Smart Bed, the lowest price of the season, limited time, exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. See store or sleepnumber.com for details.
Don Le Batard.
Our Panther group chat, we're confident against the Lightning. This is a different team.
Yeah. You're a Panther group chat, though.
No, I think no, but dude, you're so wrong on that. We've been terrified of this team forever, and I think there's a different energy where the Panthers, they want the Lightning.
Stugotz. I want T-shirts made for this Panther run. What could be this Panther run? Our Panther group chat. We're not afraid of the Lightning.
That's a tagline for World War 3.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Stugotz and I are laughing at the same thing together, which is just degree of difficulty on how it is hard to be as good as Connor McDavid. Like, whatever it takes, of all the world's skaters and people who do things professionally for money and fight for money, how hard it is to be McDavid. And for Greg Cote to wander over with the criticism that's just lazy at his age, that he's overrated, and he can't even get through it without coughing. The criticism, he can't get through his criticism with his breath functioning properly to criticize one of the greatest athletes any of us have ever seen in a sport is just so sports media. It's just in general the entire sports media capitalistic system, whereas I can't breathe, but I'm going to take money and attention off your greatness by diminishing you, even though my criticism can't come out without a cough.
But you're a top 1%er, Greg. Like you are essentially the Connor McDavid of local columnists. You can actually say these things.
Let me tell you what's ridiculous about what Dan just said. Okay, Le Batard referred to my opinion as lazy. Okay. A lazy opinion is one that everybody else has.
Greg,
nobody else had this opinion.
This was bold.
Nobody else had this opinion. It is the opposite of a lazy opinion.
A brave opinion, really.
Take it back.
Take it back, Jack.
It's the coffee.
Take it back, Jack.
All right.
No, it's not a lazy opinion.
Okay.
Trust me.
All right.
Thank you for your bravery.
And just because I cough, talk about ageism.
For real.
I have asthma, and he's making fun of the fact that I cough.
I think that's sicknessism, not.
Do you still have your counsel?
Unhealthism.
Yes. Have you responded yet? Has your attorney responded?
I'm busy.
I want to be clear about a thing when I say it's a lazy take. If I were to somehow not be able in any form to explain to aliens 300 years from now what sports radio was at its dumbest, the argument and opinion I would put in there is someone is overrated or underrated. I don't know what else I'd put in there to rival. Maybe somebody should be fired. Somebody should not have their job anymore. That's why I say it's a lazy opinion.
Did he choke is a good one. Did he choke? That's good.
He did.
I've seen that on the lower third already.
Mm-hmm. So what are we supposed to do? Just give him the Stanley Cup because he had a good, half a playoff run and not celebrate the Panthers? I don't understand.
No, he's
so great, so let's just give him the Stanley Cup.
Why not the Stanley Cup.
Why play the games? He's one of the best all time. Just give him a
all
trophy.
you have
He's
to
the
do
champion.
is not say Greg Cote is right. You don't have to give him
he
anything.
was right.
He was right.
He was right.
You're literally trying to put a billboard saying that, though.
You guys are changing
You are
Greg's
trying
argument.
to do that. You are saying he is right.
That's
Talking on
because
both
that's
sides of
Shoving
the
words in
again,
his mouth.
Again, it's why it's the joke I want to make. It's specifically the reason that this is the joke I want to make, because he's the most maximum wrong and gets to be right. It's amazing. It's the stupidity of this medium.
In all seriousness, that billboard's going to go up in Edmonton, and someone's going to burn it down.
Sure, yeah.
They are going to vandalize that.
No. They're going to burn it down.
Yeah, Canada typically handles it that way.
Well, Canadians are too nice to vandalize.
Did you watch Vancouver after they lost to the Bruins?
Yeah, that's true, but that's in the East. isn't it?
No, very west.
It's in the west.
Very west.
Greg, go sit
West as you can get.
Greg, go sit in the penalty box.
I was thinking of Montreal.
It's east of Asia.
That's east.
I just got in here.
Go sit in the penalty box. Just you can't. That's east.
It depends where your starting point is.
East of the Pacific Ocean.
Right.
Yeah.
I was right, by the way.
All right.
I don't know whether you've heard
you
that.
mentioned that. What we didn't get right, and I don't know what you guys can get for me in terms of information on this, because I would like to continue to cover this throughout the show today. I thought we were going to have billboards up already. I was dealing with this late on midnight last night, and then I'm told, our dimensions are wrong. Where are we on getting billboards up that I wanted up a week ago? This is not that hard. What is the latest on why we can't get these things up in Edmonton? Why are the dimensions wrong? And when is this going up? Is it going up before the end of the show? Are we going to have a payoff before I'm in Africa?
Zaz, you have an update for him?
Yeah, I feel like Dan was looking at me for a lot of that.
Dimensions.
I don't understand.
Not on this assignment.
Why we're so incompetent as a group.
What does the billboard say?
Yeah.
Well, I think that should be a surprise.
Oh. Then how do we know when it goes up?
It's an unveiling. Well, you'll know. You'll know.
All right.
Okay.
I just got word that we are fingers crossed that it goes up today.
Okay. There you go.
That'd be good timing.
I don't believe that Meadowlark has fingers. I will not believe it until I've seen them crossed. I will not believe that Meadowlark is an operation that has fingers, that comes complete with fingers.
You guys want to hear Roy drunk again?
Yeah, sure.
All right, we have made it from Amarin Beck Arena to the infield.
Let me hear Charles Barkley. Let me hear Charles Barkley, not drunk, but you would understand if throughout South Florida, this was how people were describing what they believe should have been the winner of the Conn Smythe Trophy.
Sergei Bababka.
All right, we have made it from Amarin Beck Arena to the infield, which is
He can't handle his liquor. He can't handle his liquor.
It's way worse just audio, because you can really fixate on the slur.
All right, we have made it from Amarin Beck Arena to the infield, which is a couple blocks down.
That's the billboard, right?
We are
made it.
All right, we have made it from Amarin Beck Arena to the infield, which is a couple blocks down.
You waited 30 years to say we are made it.
All right,
that billboard is going to be awesome. We are made it.
How did we feel about the cheering in the press box last night?
I love it.
Because
was funny.
What do you mean?
Very professional.
That's an auxiliary press box, though. He was in actual seats. He wasn't in the real press box.
So that's different?
I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it's okay.
Zaslow allows it.
Allow it.
It was unusually emotional for Roy. I don't think any of us have ever seen him that happy. There are times in the drink where he gets a little exuberant and gets emotional, but I have not seen him as obviously happy as he was. And visually, the comedy team of Roy's charisma with David Dwork, the comedy team. Stugotz muttered under his breath during one of the breaks here, that guy looks like a murderer.
He does.
Which one?
I mean, if there was a murdering spree throughout South Florida and Dwork's name, his face came up on the television, would you be surprised?
He let out a squeal when the Panthers won that I've never heard before. Because he's like super serious professional hockey, broad hockey news. That's David Dwork. Not when that clock hit double zero.
It was
Triple
interesting
zero,
to hear and watch the objectivity thaw away from both a drunk Roy and an intoxicated by the feeling David Dwork.
All right, we have made it.
I'm scared around that guy.
He does look a little
throwing a shave every now and again.
A little murderous, yes, he does. Roy says he was happy that he could now shave his playoff beard, which just grew in as playoff patches. Did not, little small tiny pieces of
He
real
was
estate.
growing a
yes, he says,
playoff beard? Really?
He says he was, yes, and he's happy that he can shave it. Is he now gone? Has he taken Stunt Danny and headed toward the Elbo Room to see if we can get Kachuk and Barkov and whoever else is? This is a perfect time. My God, those guys haven't slept. Fort Lauderdale right now has to feel and sound lovely, has to be sunny and warm, and they're going to be surrounded by at least 14 or 15 people out there once people find out they're at the Elbo Room. There aren't that many there right now.
Those people are just there.
Yeah, those are just people who would otherwise be at the Elbo Room, which are not people you want to be around on a Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. if they're already at the Elbo Room. I don't think that's company anyone wants to be keeping. Sasso, did you sleep at all last night?
Yeah, but I obviously went to sleep late, and I had a really hard time falling asleep. If we lost,
that's tough,
no chance I would have fallen asleep. It'd have been really, really rough. But yeah, I laid in bed for a while before I was able to fall asleep. I was so jacked up.
I'm wearing the same exact clothes I wore to the game. I was at the arena till 3, had a spicy McChicken.
Wow.
Set the alarm for 90 minutes from that moment and went to bed in this and got out of the bed and went on the train. I'm sweating my ass off.
I got home at 3 o'clock and watched the end of the game because I had recorded it. Just replayed it. Got to watch the final 10 minutes.
Think being there is great, but I do think there are things you miss.
Yeah.
You miss a lot of the experience.
You watched the puck up against the boards for 2 minutes.
Oh, McDonough. I heard they're tired. Look how gassed they are. It was a cool call.
Yeah, can I say something about McDonough too real quick? He was getting a lot of criticism because he was really sick throughout the series. He was excellent last night. I really enjoyed the final call.
I think he's great in general. That sport's tough. It moves so fast. I don't think people know how hard it is to do that sport.
He was really upset about the criticism throughout the series.
I thought he was excellent, and I just don't know how anybody does that sport well. I'm telling you, when I watch, and this is not new, I mean, this has been hockey's gotten a ton better on television, but it's been a plague for a while how quickly the sport moves. The announcers always know before I do that the goal has been scored. They always get it, and it's the horn and some of the help that they have inside the arena. But I find very difficult listening to people try to do that sport because the fourth line's got a bunch of names that are tough to pronounce, and we're just skittering past them real quick because we got to get to the action on the other side of the ice.
And there's so much nuance in the game that is just like you pick up. If you're around the game for 10 years, you pick up something new every day, and tactics change. But think about this show. We have a larger ensemble, but we've talked over each other plenty. McDonough and Ferraro aren't in the same booth. Ferraro is on the ice.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's them too. They don't have nonverbal communication. Like, they have to have that chemistry down.
And they never get the numbers wrong either. Like in basketball, if you can memorize 7 or 8 guys on each team, you're going to know everybody's number. Everybody plays on the hockey bench. You got to know all 18 guys that are all over the ice for both teams. They never get it wrong.
Let's play for people the sound of McDonough at the end of that game, because I did think it was a good call, and I did think he was right to identify how tired the Oilers obviously looked.
20 seconds to go. One last gasp for Edmonton. Bouchard's pass didn't click with Draisaitl. 12 seconds to go. Florida trying to end it up against the wall, which would be fitting. 3 seconds to go. The Florida Panthers have won the Stanley Cup.
One of the things, Stugotz, that I thought was interesting about that, as the puck was in the corner, and there were 2 Oilers, McDavid was one of them, skating in circles in front of Bobrovsky by themselves, and it was just like, yeah, that's not coming out of there.
Yeah.
We're not. That's going to stay in
But that's
there.
where they have to be.
There's
if
where,
it did, oh boy.
No, I know, but there were 5 Panthers in the corner with the puck, and it wasn't going to come out of there. That's where it was going to stay. It's where Edmonton's season was going to die. But McDavid was just skating in circles, exhausted in front of Bobrovsky.
You had to be the outlet. That's our Philly special.
Yeah.
You knew that once they went to the boards with 12 seconds left, that was it. They were Stanley Cup champions.
It was the perfect ending.
How about you get the puck? I mean, best player in the world.
There you go. Instead of skating around the net, how about you go get
Waiting
the puck?
for someone to bring it to you.
That's a really unfortunate take by you guys.
Greg,
not how the game's taught.
Can you give us your honest, because you left here yesterday, I want your honest appraisal of what the last week has been like for you. If you've seen, you told me leaving here yesterday, Dan, I'm sorry, I'm just generally more emotional about everything these days than I usually am, but you sent us an enough is enough email over the weekend, and clearly the battering that you were taking seemed seemed from where I was standing like it was a little bit scary and uncomfortable, and I felt like you were hiding behind a bunch of bravado. I feel like you were scared that was going to result in Panther fans blaming you for the loss for eternity.
Well, had they...
This is a new and unimproved Dan Le Batard show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
Folks, the time has come for some new golf clubs, and that means one thing. Heading over to my local PXG store for a fitting. They make the best golf clubs, period. Roy, hockey season's almost over. You're going to be out of the barn, and you're going to be out on the golf course with me. You need new clubs.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have your PXG fitting coming up soon. I did mine. I am telling you, it is the most efficient process. I went to the Fort Lauderdale location. They have them all over. It is efficient. You're in and out in an hour. You're swinging clubs. They're assessing you. Next thing you know, weeks later, boom. New clubs, irons, woods, putters. I'm telling you, it's the whole 9 yards. Is that a golf phrase? Whole 9 yards. That's a football phrase.
That's like, what, you're chipping 9 yards?
It's the whole 10-foot putt. PXG does it better than anybody else. It's knocked 4 to 5 strokes off my game within the first month, and it's just a game changer. PXG fitters are highly trained, incredibly experienced, and have a deep understanding of how to optimize your clubs to get the most out of your swing. Schedule your fitting today, and for a limited time, you can save up to 20% on your entire order, guys. That's 20% off your entire order. Head over to pxg.com/Dan. That's pxg.com/Dan to save up to 20% on your entire order. pxg.com/Dan. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Dan Le Batard.
Florida claws back from down 2-0 because they were getting their asses handed to them by Toronto to then get lit afire underneath them by their head coach, Paul Maurice, who did the thing. Remember how the run was sparked last year?
Stugotz.
He called them a bunch of P's and B's. He did the thing again. Called them a bunch of P's and B's, and then, boom. 5 unanswered. You win the division.
This is the Dan Le Batard show with the Stugotz.
Roy has arrived very quickly at the Elbo Room. I didn't think he could get there that quickly. It's not particularly close. It seems like the crowd has filled out there a little bit now that people are hearing that the Stanley Cup is there and the Panthers are there. Roy, what can you tell us from the scene? What do you have for us in terms of vibes?
Well, the Stanley Cup is right up there behind the guy in the white shirt right there. It's on the table. They poured beer out of the Stanley Cup down below to the fans. It is packed. Media cannot go into the building now. That is over. You bring it out. It's now friends and family. So a lot of fans are outside, and friends and family are inside.
All right, so friends and family, it's a private gathering. We're getting there too late. Greg, we had something set up. We were trying to get everyone in position, and you were going to go to McDonald's, and I think you were going to order a McOverrated.
I was going to order a McOverrated chicken sandwich.
Right.
And if they didn't have that, I would have said, "Oh, you're all out. I'll have a Barbowski burger with some Sasha sauce."
Okay, it's too bad we missed out on that the technology didn't work so that we could actually do that at the McDonald's.
Right. Yeah.
You had a whole thing worked out?
Yeah, and then I was going to order a Frosty just because I was it was just
That's
so
Wendy's, though.
hot in
It's
there.
a wrong place.
Yeah. We were at Wendy's waiting to order.
Okay, I thought you were at a McDonald's.
Yeah. No, we weren't, no.
The whole Mick part.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that's...
You can only do it at McDonald's.
All I can tell you is that we were at Wendy's to no avail.
Okay, and none of it worked. And it's not surprising that it didn't work. We'll come out to Roy in a second and see if he could get any closer to what's happening over there.
He seems to be right next to Barkov's golf cart.
You have to work your way into that thing. You do. If you're Roy, you have to. Perhaps I should have went with him, but you have to work your way into that. You have to be friends and family. Roy, get in there.
Can't get in there.
What?
Right, you're walking away from the Stanley Cup right now, Roy. You're walking away.
I'm not. The Stanley Cup is going to the ocean.
Oh, you're following?
It's being carried by Sam Bennett, I believe.
Okay.
Go touch it.
All right.
Get close to it.
Yeah, you got to get over there,
get
Roy.
assistance.
Jogging now.
Yeah, Roy, get over there.
In Sam's hand.
I'm in sand right now.
It's an Android camera.
Right, yes.
Jeez.
Everybody's...
Oh, you can kiss my ass with that Android camera comment.
Tackle Bennett. Make some news.
All right.
This doesn't seem
The Stanley
safe.
Cup is in the ocean.
All right.
So go in the ocean.
Get us a shot, Roy.
I am not going in the ocean.
Get us a shot, Roy.
touch the cup.
Get us a
I'm
shot.
wearing jeans and a jersey.
Get us
I'm not
the
going
shot.
in
Get us a
ocean.
shot of it.
I'm trying to get the goddamn shot.
Lower. Get rid of the lower third.
A little lower.
Lower your camera.
Lower the camera.
Lower your camera. There it is.
Go touch it.
All right, ship ahoy.
Get in there, Roy.
What?
Chips ahoy is right.
What?
Yep. Championships. Chips
Yep.
ahoy.
That's what you say, Dan.
That's what you say.
Ships ahoy.
Chips
Chips ahoy.
Yep.
And it's a boat thing too with the ocean. Chips ahoy. It's perfect.
Yep.
Check out this hockey town, huh?
What were you saying?
Chips ahoy.
Ships ahoy.
Yeah.
Championship.
You're saying something. You're saying something differently than what he's saying. He's not saying
this
chips
is awesome.
ahoy. He's saying, for some reason, ships ahoy.
Championships.
Do you think the keeper of the cup gets nervous?
Hell yeah.
Of course.
blood
it's his
pressure.
job.
Lord Stanley
Things
was
in the
just
ocean.
fully submerged in the Atlantic Ocean.
I would love it if a shark ate the cup. And believe me, a shark could. That's a good question for McGill.
That is a good question.
It is a great
Is
question.
he on today?
An adult shark could take a bite out of the cup that would render it useless.
All right, we'll ask McGill that. I don't think it's a good question for McGill.
Chips fair question today, though.
But,
There are no bad questions, only bad
That's
answers.
right. You know what? On a day like today when you're a champion, you can tell anyone, ships ahoy, and it makes sense.
The San Jose Sharks, they bit a hockey stick and went right through that.
Ships ahoy
There you
makes
go.
no sense.
Championship.
Chips ahoy.
Chips ahoy.
That's what the kids call championship.
with the dips.
Ship. We're going for the ship.
Roy, just
We're
tell
going for the ship.
tell everyone your media, Roy, and that you need to get through.
You are
That's going to work, Chris.
You are going for chips. That's the problem.
We do have someone on the scene.
You're right there. Touch it.
Roy,
Feet
can you
away.
describe what you're seeing right now? Was the cup indeed submerged for a brief moment in time?
Yeah, that Stanley Cup is what it is. It was in the ocean. It was submerged. I believe Aaron Ekblad actually did the backstroke with it.
Roy, your terrible microphone is exceeded only by your terrible camera work. Thank
I
you.
can leave now, Dan, if you want.
All right, yes, please. That's enough.
He's getting us good stuff. That was
Goodbye.
an exclusive, dude. No. Stick around.
stick
we need
around.
you there.
Yes.
Crazy shit like that's going to be happening all day.
Yep.
I
follow that cup.
I just get better at the camera work and get better at the chasing.
Dude, I have a cell phone. I don't have a professional camera. I'm sorry.
You're doing great, man. No one else is doing this
That's
stuff.
right, Roy.
Like we don't congratulate ourselves enough when we actually get stuff to work.
Mm-hmm.
This is stuff working? Okay.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
No other live
Yes.
show of our stature is doing shit like this. This is an achievement.
Roy.
And he's got a droid. There's a lot of shit working against us.
Yes, it is an achievement, just like going to Wendy's and trying to order an overrated
Droid Bellamy.
McDavid.
Bask in the glow. We are Hockey Town, USA. Roy was on the scene. He got to the Elbo Room in 7 minutes, and he caught video of the
How did he
cup,
get there so fast?
of the cup
He did get there.
submerged. That is exclusive video. The Dan Lebitard Show. That is great stuff.
More
by
than
Roy.
6 people, too.
He did get there very quickly. Something that happened during the break that I want to share with you all, because I wrote down what Greg Cote said, because I want everyone to hear
Chips ahoy.
what he was saying to me.
Write that down.
Fun. I've been in the Elbow Room, believe me.
Oh, yeah.
Talking to the mic.
Yeah, you have.
Here I am. Who needs me? What? You're going to go to Buffalo with Bernie Parmalee? All right, back to hockey.
Back to you at the Elbow Room.
It's a real tourist spot. Normally it's just tourists.
Yeah.
Been there forever.
Are you winded from your last couple of sentences of trying to talk?
I could run a 100-meter dash right now and
No,
beat
you
half
couldn't.
of you. Yeah, no, I certainly
Half of
could.
us.
Yeah.
You would beat no one here in a foot race. Not a single person.
You never know.
No, I do know. I'm very well aware that there's not a single person here that
Including the next room?
There's not a single person that you can see right now who you would beat in a foot race.
Who won? Me. Me maximum, 100 meters.
What I wanted to get to that actually happened with Greg Cote during the break is that Stugotz and I were laughing at how funny visually his private personal parade looked when they panned out from it, and it was just clearly just one car and no one around him. And he was acting, your father was acting for one of the rare times in his life.
Yes.
He was acting well. It seemed like he was a beauty queen in a pageant waving at people.
He's got that roll down,
Yeah,
man. Accepting praise.
Pretending that he was in a parade, and this is what he actually said. I'm not making this up. It was not really under his breath, but it was just for me. But your father and I talk during the breaks in a way that he doesn't totally know whether I'm paying attention or not because I'm writing stuff down, but he keeps talking. So I just wrote down what it is that he was saying. He didn't know I was writing it down. He said, "You could cast me in a major film. I'd be fine. I'd be good at a recurring role. Maybe not the star or second person, but I could be the third person in a major
I feel
film."
like that. Yeah, the guy who gets credit in the scroll, but not major credit. You know, my name is a third of the size of Dustin Hoffman, or the actor of the day.
Right.
You know, Gyllenhaal, that kind of thing.
But a third actor.
Yeah,
good.
you know, I mean,
right.
I've been an extra in a major motion picture. I've done that.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Really?
Absence of Malice. Yeah, early '80s with Sally Field.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a good film.
Classic.
What'd you do? What was your...
I played a newspaper reporter.
And how'd you do it?
I am seen sitting on a desk with a newspaper, reading an open newspaper, but you can see my face on camera.
Greg, please speak into the microphone. I know you can master a major film, but for 20 years you haven't been able to master just where you're supposed to speak.
Well, the voice carries.
Yeah.
Like that song, Voices Carry.
Right. We got video here of Kachuk and Bennett just pouring beer on this guy.
A wise man once said, "We are made it."
Just drenching this guy.
That's great.
Are we going to go back out to Roy? I saw him again just sort of hovering. That's the camera angle I want.
Landscape.
Him totally
Oh my God.
sideways. Yes. Roy, what other updates can you give us about everything that's happening sideways at the Elbo Room? This is we should celebrate when Meadowlark Media does things right, the way that they're doing this right now.
The Stanley Cup is back in position right now in the Elbo Room and here in the balcony. I believe that is Alexander Barkov right there next to it. As he's walking in, they are now officially taking photos with the cup, and they are playing the Florida Panthers goal song right now.
The Elbo Room has never quite been this vibrant and lovely and colorful. It is usually just a bunch of concrete and cocaine.
Yeah, just white.
That's usually what's there. But right now, because I can't explain to you how bad those bathrooms are and how much sort of cinder block feel it has as charisma from its interior decorator.
So, Greg, you're saying you couldn't be Maverick, you couldn't be Goose, but perhaps you could be Ice from Top Gun?
Yeah, well, I don't speak that language, but I'm going to say
he's the third guy, the third star in that movie.
Iceman. Iceman.
I think, honestly, at this age, I'm a character actor. Okay, I'm the guy. I'm the guy you cast as, the creepy neighbor. Maybe the creepy neighbor.
Radke type.
Yeah, and maybe the accountant in the office who's nearing retirement as embezzling
Makes
on the
sense.
side. That type thing.
Yeah.
Can we get back to what we were talking about before, which was your honest feelings before you were cut off by the break, in terms of how scared you actually were about being blamed eternally for costing the Panthers the Stanley Cup?
Right. That would have been blame sown by this show, quite frankly.
Just because you said it here, Greg, and all we did here was shine a light on the thing you said and wrote.
I know, but you had Zaslow on here saying that if the Panthers lose this series, everybody's going to blame you. And Mike Ryan has said something similar. That is what foments the atmosphere for potential harm to me if the Panthers had lost. Luckily, they didn't. In terms of my reputation, I don't give a crap whether people hear my name and they think, that's the idiot who wrote Marino should be traded and McDavid is overrated. That's fine. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. But
you were scared, though. You seemed emotional, and you seemed like you were pinballing emotionally all over the place. It seemed I don't find you to generally be someone who is introspective about his emotions. So you might have some lash out because I don't find you to be somebody who's totally comfortable with exactly what he's feeling emotionally at the moment. It tends to leak out in all sorts of other places. And so I thought what was happening this weekend with you hitting us with enough is enough and I'm tired of it was at at least in part because we're annoying, but also because you were under it.
I was never scared. No, I was never. I never felt in physical harm. I was joking last night that had the Panthers lost Game 7, I would have needed a bodyguard to walk me with my car.
You weren't joking. You said during a break here yesterday, are you concerned about liability?
Yeah.
I might get hurt after the game.
Yeah, that's true. Had that happened, but I wasn't fearful that it was actually going to happen. That was a big what if. But yeah, the worst case scenario happens, and 3 disgruntled Panthers fans, Zaslow, Mike, and one other guy, beat me up as I'm leaving last night's game after a heartbreaking loss, and I come out. That would have been great. Yeah, and I come out looking worse than I did a few weeks ago in that photo.
We were under a lot of pressure. I think we were all a little anxious. We were all super emotional. One day you will see that I was trying to do the exact opposite in terms of fomenting what you feared. One day you will see that I was trying to stop all of it from happening.
I was shining a light on what it is that you had said and done. Our show was shining a light on what it is that you said and did. Right. But you said it and did it.
Right. Oh, and as all of you will attest, I have never done anything but double down on my opinion. I've been unwavering in my opinion, and I continue to believe what I wrote. And I think to a large degree, the result did vindicate me. The thing that I got mad about was, A, the invasion of privacy photo of me in a hospital bed, and B, using that photo of a naked guy on Bourbon Street and saying flat out that it was me when obviously it wasn't.
There's a lot of people tuning into this show for the first time, and I'm glad that sits out there with zero context.
Mm-hmm. Folks, the time has come for some new golf clubs, and that means one thing. Heading over to my local PXG store for a fitting. They make the best golf clubs, period. Roy, hockey season's almost over. You're going to be out of the barn, and you're going to be out on the golf course with me. You need new clubs.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have your PXG fitting coming up soon. I did mine. I am telling you, it is the most efficient process. I went to the Fort Lauderdale location. They have them all over. It is efficient. You're in and out in an hour. You're swinging clubs. They're assessing you. Next thing you know, weeks later, boom. New clubs, irons, woods, putters. I'm telling you, it's the whole 9 yards. Is that a golf phrase? Whole 9 yards. That's a football phrase.
That's like, what, you're chipping 9 yards?
It's the whole 10-foot putt. PXG does it better than anybody else. It's knocked 4 to 5 strokes off my game within the first month, and it's just a game changer. PXG fitters are highly trained, incredibly experienced, and have a deep understanding of how to optimize your clubs to get the most out of your swing. Schedule your fitting today, and for a limited time, you can save up to 20% on your entire order, guys. That's 20% off your entire order. Head over to pxg.com/Dan. That's pxg.com/Dan to save up to 20% on your entire order. pxg.com/Dan. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Howdy, folks. It's Mike Ryan. Now, if you've been listening to the show a lot lately, you've heard so much playoff talk. Playoff hoops. Down here in South Florida, we're especially enamored with playoff hockey. It's not just limited to the playoffs. Motorsports, tennis, golf. It's truly one of the best times in the sporting calendar. And with the weather outside warming up, it's just perfect to hop in a pool, maybe grill up some food, but most certainly crack open some Miller Lights. I just described a pretty perfect day, didn't I? And it culminates with Miller time. There's something about a perfect grilling day. The sun's out, friends show up, and that first sip of Miller Lite just hits different. I've been stocking up the cooler with it for years. This year, Miller Lite turns 50. That is 5 decades of cookouts, laughs, and ice-cold moments that never miss. And if you've listened to the show for its 20-year existence, you know this to be true. Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Cheers to 50 years of Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.